Guys, if you thought Finon couldn't get any more meta, well, then you'd be forgetting that this is Star Rail. So in a little over a week, CERYDRA's banner will be here, and for those who don't know, she'll be the new Wind Harmony unit that specializes in giving DPSs a second skill, among other buffs. So we'll go over all her best Lightcones, Relics, Teamcomps, and Eidolons to truly see how valuable of a pull she is. Now thankfully, she has great Lightcone options, since the only things she really needs is attack and speed. So yes, her signature is better than all the other options, since it gives her a ton of attack percent, some SP, regen, and skill damage bonus to a selected character. It's amazing, especially for Finon and Anaxa, but we'll get into Teamcomps later. Her signature is not a must pull. Robin's signature is a great second option to her sig, providing very similar buffs. The current restaurant event gives the perfect 4-star Lightcone for CERYDRA. It's the largest attack percent you can get, a maximum of 80%, so I highly suggest to just use this. It's free. If for some reason you don't want to do the event, or you're not going to get the Lightcone somehow, I don't know how, then a lot of Harmony Lightcones are good for her, like Sundays is good, DDD is decent, but really just use the event Lightcone. Relics are really easy as well. Ordeal is without a doubt her best. Both her skill and ult apply to teammates who want to be hyper carried, so it's amazing. It's free crit damage. Then for her planar ornaments, well, the best support set we have is Lushaka. Just put your DPS in the first slot, and they get a free 12% attack, while CERYDRA gets some ER. It's perfect. Now, Mainstats and Substats, she wants a stat spread of attack percent on the body, speed on the boots. You might be able to get away with attack percent boots. All you need to do is speed tune to your DPS. She doesn't need to be incredibly fast, because she also gives herself and the selected unit 20 speed. Then attack percent on the orb. She doesn't want element damage. Her personal damage is not great. Honestly, for how many buffs her kit gives to herself, it's kind of pathetic how much damage she does, but whatever. ERR percent on the rope for the last main stat. For her substats and stat goals, CERYDRA wants a minimum of 4,000 attack because of her A1 passive, then speed just to tune her to your DPS. Attack percent and flat attack are the only stats that matter afterwards. She doesn't need anything else because she gets 100% crit rate to herself, and then she also gains 360% crit damage, so she does not need any crit stats whatsoever. Now Teamcomps, the highly discussed topic. There's a lot of debate over whether or not she has any universality in her kit. So for those who don't know, she's a harmony buffer that gives a selected character a second skill. This skill does not consume skill points, and it counts as one turn. Now obviously this is perfect for Finon because it allows him to launch a second enhanced skill within his ult, which is a chunky amount of damage, plus other buffs like 72% skill damage, 10% res pen, attack, all that. I suggest pairing these two with Sunday and Woho for his best sustained comp, and then you can switch Woho with Bronya for a very powerful sustainless hyper carry, but have fun managing the skill points and speed tuning with this one. A more free to play comp you could use is with Ron May, obviously only if you chose her in the shop over Luocha, because, well, you should have. And then RMC, they're a good buffing pair. Sustains, I mean, Bailu generates stacks, Shepherd too, but just use whoever you have if you don't have Woho. Next up, Anaxa, who is the perfect pairing with CERYDRA, putting them with Tribi, Sunday, or Bronya, and any sustain is perfect for a main DPS Anaxa. I don't really suggest the Herda Anaxa and CERYDRA, because she only buffs one unit, so only a main DPS Anaxa, obviously. But there is something to note here. In the future, we will be getting the new Dan Heng Preservation unit, which gives a memo sprite to a selected unit. This means that Anaxa, Sunday, CERYDRA, Dan Heng will be amazing, because now Anaxa gets that additional 50% damage boost from Sunday, because Dan Heng's whole gimmick is he gives a memo sprite to a selected unit, which makes Sunday even better. Besides those two teams though, I don't really suggest any other units. They don't get a lot of value from CERYDRA. Like Archer can get an extra skill that doesn't consume skill points or contribute to his 5 skill limit. However, it counts as multiple turns, so you're losing buffs after the first skill. And My Day, well, I mean, he's HP scaling, he doesn't really want to be in the first slot because he wants to be hit a lot. It's just, it doesn't really work with any other characters. So unfortunately, she's not very universal, not at all. The only comps she upgrades are Hyper Carry Finon and Anaxa, especially Finon. So unless you're going all in on one of those units, she isn't really a high valuable pull for your account. Regardless though, if that's exactly why you want her, then she is an incredible upgrade. Now, we'll finally cover her Eidolons and pull priority. So comparing her E1 and S1, they are pretty close, but overall E1 will be better, especially with Finon because it's a 36% defense ignore, which is just stupid, then extra stack generation. This plus her sig having good alternatives just makes E1 much more valuable than S1. S2, the character that got skilled on, deals 40% increased damage, and CERYDRA's personal damage increases by 160%. So the 40% damage is nice for the selected unit, but it's kind of funny how much personal buffing CERYDRA's kit has, and her damage is still not that impressive. I honestly don't suggest going past E1. E4 is a 240% ult damage increase to her ult. Nice, I guess, but not great at all. Then E6, the selected character with military merit, so that's whoever she skills on, gains 20% res pen. The additional damage from this is increased by 300%, and CERYDRA also gains 20% 20% res pen for herself. I mean, this is pretty good because for once 2 characters gain 20% res pen instead of just 1. She gets a substantial personal DPS increase while providing more support. E6 is a lot of pulls to get though, so like I said, she's perfect at E0, and E1 is a great stopping point. You don't need to go for E2, and especially not for E6. It's unfortunate that she's so niche, but damn is she an upgrade for fine on comps.